Welcome to Chapter 3, Lesson 4, where we're going to learn how to apply attributes to different objects. So a couple things to get us started is I need to make sure that you have your last name, first name, snowball parts project open that you finished from Lesson 3 on your own, where each of the items should have been outlined with your pen tool using a no-fill color on your fill and a black stroke color on your outline. So go ahead and open that up for me from your H drive, and pause if you need to. And then the next thing I want to make sure you have is your color panel opened and then your swatches open so that you can see them both at the same time. You can do that, of course, by dragging and dropping these palettes into their appropriate places so that you can see both. So now that we have our file open, what we're going to do is start to change the attributes of these different objects that you have outlined. So first off is we're going to create a royal blue color, and it's really going to be up to you and what you consider royal blue is, by coming to our color swatch and clicking somewhere on a color that looks royal blue. Then you're going to come to your fill tool, click and drag over to your swatches so that a new swatch appears in your panel. You're going to double click the swatch and you're going to name it Royal Blue. Then we are going to create a couple more swatches for the rest of our project. We're going to create a deep red color. So I'm going to put mine right about here. That's a pretty deep red color. I'm going to click on my fill tool, drag over release, double click, and rename this one Deep Red. And then we're going to create a skin tone color. So just click somewhere on this yellow. I want you to click and drag over. We're going to change the options on this one so it's a little more specific. So double clicking, and then we're going to change our C to 0, our M to 20, and our Y to 30. Oh, hang on, give me just a sec. Our M to 20, our yellow, or our Y to 56, and then our K to 0. And then we're going to change that name to Skin Tone. And then go ahead and click OK. So now we have all of our colors ready for our project. So the first thing we're going to do is have our selection tool active, and then I want you to go to View and go to Arm. So we're going to select our arm and then take our royal blue swatch and we're going to drag and drop it over, and you'll have to hover over the border and then release so that it changes that interior color. And then you're going to click on the border so that using your smart guides it'll say path. Come up here to your stroke and you're going to change it to 6 points so that now you have a thicker black outline. So then we are going to also go to our head, make sure we use our selection tool, select our head, and then we're going to drag and drop our skin tone color over. Make sure once again that we drag it near the border so that it can establish that it goes in the object. And we're not going to change the stroke on this one. So now we're going to go to our view, go to our hat band, and we're going to change this one to our deep red. So make sure that our hat band is selected. Take our deep red color, drag and drop it over and release, and then click on our path, come to our stroke, and we're going to change our stroke to 3. Then what I want you to do is go ahead and just zoom out a little bit. Let's try 150 and see if that works. And then we're going to scroll up to hopefully see our hat in the image as well. Let's go to 100, try one more time, and then scroll up. Perfect. So now we can see our hat. So we're going to use our selection tool, click on our hat, and then we're going to use our eyedropper tool and click on our hat band deep red color. And we are also going to make sure that it established the stroke of 3. So we're going to go to our selection tool, click on the path, and see that it has our stroke of 3. Then we're going to change the color of our iris. So using our selection tool, coming over to our black swatch and dragging and dropping for our iris. Then we are going to change the color of our nose to be the same as our head. Going to our selection tool, clicking on our nose, and coming to our eyedropper tool and clicking on our head to change that color. I also want the color of the mouth to be black, so we're going to go back to our selection tool, click on our mouth, and then let's go ahead and drag and drop our color swatch over and release. Now I want us to do the same for our mitten that we have for our hat and our hat band. So as before, selecting on our mitten, and then coming to our eyedropper tool, clicking on our hat band, making sure that we replicate that, and then coming back to our selection tool, clicking on our torso, coming to our eyedropper tool, and clicking on our arm. So you should have all of these pieces filled in so that we can assemble them in the next lesson. So go ahead and save your work and head on to our next video lesson, which will be lesson 5.